Well, let's cross now to Alexandra Stiglmayer in Brussels. She's a senior analyst at the European Stability Initiative. Welcome to the programme. After the attacks in Paris, and the focus has been renewed again on the refugee crisis, do you think the Schengen agreement is under threat?
I don't think that Schengen itself is under threat, because it's such an achievement of European integration that citizens or leaders would not give it up easily. Even French President Hollande said that he wants a Europe of open borders, not one of barbed wires and fences, because this would be the end of Europe. However, there is clearly a problem at the border to Turkey, where all the refugees are coming in. And by sheer numbers, they have forced the border open. The Greek authorities have not been able to check them all, to register them, and there is a problem. The EU has tried to address it. It has sent resources to Greece, but at the moment it still doesn't function well. And this is a problem that does need to be resolved.
Is Europe stable at the moment, or are we experiencing a shift here?
In which sense do you mean stable?
Well, I mean, there's so much happening on Europe's doorstep. You have the Syrian war being brought closer to Europe's doorstep, not least from the attacks in Paris, but also the refugees arriving. What I mean is Europe's never had to deal with so many things simultaneously.
That's true. I mean, Europe is under pressure. It's the refugee crisis. Before that, it was the Greek financial crisis. It's now the terrorist attacks. And EU leaders at the level, that are holding the EU together are struggling. But I do think that some issues might have to be resolved bilaterally. For example, the refugee crisis cannot continue forever. So it would be very important to try to resolve it together with Turkey, because you can control borders only with the help of your neighbors. And here, before waiting until 28 EU countries find agreement, it would be good if a big country like Germany, that is most affected by the refugee crisis, cuts a deal with Turkey and says, we will take refugees from Turkey, substantial numbers, but you must help close the border to Greece.
How do we come to a unified agreement? It's been a very difficult and slow process. Do you have a sense of what measures EU member states need to take in order to increase both security and stability along their borders?
Concerning the borders, experience says that you can close borders only if you work with your neighbors. That has been done by Italy with Libya before, under Gaddafi's time. That has been done with Spain, by Spain with Morocco and other North African countries. And it's very important that the EU finds an agreement with Turkey. Turkey could, for example, take back all the people who arrive in Greece from a certain date, and in this way close the border. But then, of course, it needs things in return. For example, that Europe takes substantial numbers of refugees in Turkey. Turkey is currently hosting 2.2 registered Syrian refugees, 2.2 million. So Europe should offer to take at least 500,000 on an annual basis. In return, Turkey could close the border, and Europe should also give financial aid, lift the visa requirement for Turkish citizens, and make other concessions. Concerning the security situation, it's something that the EU needs to resolve internally, and there it must really control and register everybody who enters the EU.
Okay, Alexandra Stiglmayer, thank you.